Hello friends and welcome back. Today I'm here with the Singer Fashion Mate 362 model sewing machine, and I'm going to show you how to thread it and use it, and we're going to go over all the major functions and settings. So let's get started. We have our manual, pedal, box of accessories. I'm going to cut this thread off and start over, pull it through. Okay, so we have our thread here on the top. Take your thread and stick it onto your thread spool here on the top of the machine like that. Then bring the thread here to the silver guide. You'll see there's a circle part and there's a little hook thing. For the bobbin winding, we'll use the circle part. Right now we're threading the top of the machine, so we're going to use this little hook guide. So bring the thread from the back, click it in there like that. Okay, next we'll come down here to the tension area. So hold your thread with both hands like this and click it into this first silver guide from the right. Now hold your thread in both hands again and bring it around this tension disc area, and see how I'm holding this in my left hand and bringing it all the way up till I hear a little click. So what happened is the thread brought this spring piece all the way up, and then it settled back down and the thread landed in that little shape right there. Let me show you that again from this angle. So the thread comes in this little guide first, then it comes around these tension discs, and there's two tension discs, and you need to get the thread in between the two discs. Then bring your left hand up and see how that little spring clicked up over that part, and now the thread is settled in that little part. Okay, that's what we want there. Then take your thread back up through that guide a second time. This is the take-up lever. I'm going to turn the wheel on the side of the machine here towards me until the take-up lever is at its highest position. Then we'll thread from right to left through that hole in the take-up lever. Like that. Next, we bring the thread around this little wire loop right here. Like that. Then it will come behind this little square guide here on the side of this cube. From back left like that. And finally, we'll thread the thread through the eye of the needle from front to back. Now we need to put a wound bobbin into the bottom part here. So if you have a wound bobbin, I'll show you how to put it in. If you don't, stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to wind this with thread. So if you have one, let's slide this open. This is your bobbin case. So we're going to put the bobbin in the bobbin case, but we need to make sure it's going the right direction. So this is not the right direction. We need to flip it over so the thread is going around the bobbin counterclockwise. Then we'll put the bobbin in the bobbin case like that, and then bring the tail over here kind of to the bottom right of this circle, and then bring it back towards the bottom left because we need to have it go into that little slot. You can kind of hold your other finger here to help pull that strand through that little metal slot on the front of the bobbin case there. So now it's there. So now we just need to do one final step. We've threaded the top, we've inserted the wound bobbin. Now we need to use the needle to pull the bobbin thread up through that little oval hole that's in the throat plate. So what we're going to do is hold onto this tail that's coming out of your needle with your left hand, then reach over with your right hand to the side of the machine to your flywheel and turn it towards you. And the needle's going to go down and it's going to come back up, and see it passing over that bobbin case. And now I'm just gently pulling here with my left hand, and see, it brought that loop up. So it brought up a loop of the bobbin thread. That's what we want. So we're going to grab that and pull it out long. Just keep pulling on it until the whole thing comes through. Okay, now we can shut this, and now we can bring both threads through the slot on the presser foot, and they'll just go rest back here. Now our machine's threaded, we should be ready to sew. So let's do a practice stitch. I have some fabric here, and I'm just going to put it under the presser foot. This is your presser foot. Slide your fabric under, then come to the back of the machine and lower this lever. This lowers your presser foot down onto the fabric. That always needs to be down before you start sewing. Put the foot pedal on the floor, start slow and the machine will start slow, and then the harder you press, the faster the machine will go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the pedal. Okay, once you finish, just rotate the wheel towards you until the needle comes back to its highest position. Always only turn it towards you, don't turn it away from you. Then come back to that lever back here and lift your presser foot again and pull the fabric out to the left. Then you can use your scissors and cut off the threads. And let's see what we've got. That straight stitch there looks really nice. That's what we just did. And on the back it looks really nice too. This is a good balanced stitch. Let's look at some of the other options we have. So right now we're set to a straight stitch. You'll see this says stitch width though. And over here at pattern selector, you either have the option of this overcast stitch or a zigzag. So for either one of these patterns being selected, if you have the stitch width all the way down, it's basically like it's making that zigzag or overcast, but it's so narrow that it's actually just a straight line. So this is how you make a straight line. You just put the stitch width all the way down. If we put the stitch width up to the first setting, it's going to make a very narrow either overcast stitch or zigzag. Same thing as we move the width up. If we go all the way up, it's going to make the widest possible zigzag or overcast stitch. So then what is this needle position button for? If we take our stitch width back down so that we're on a straight stitch, maybe you don't want the needle to be centered how it normally is in the presser foot. Maybe you want it to be off to the left or right a little bit to help you get into a closer thing. So you can move this and the needle will shift over. You can do this to put it back in the middle and do this and the needle will shift over again to the right. So I have it set to zigzag and the most narrow option. Let's try that. Presser foot down and hit the pedal. Rotate the wheel till the needle's all the way up. Pull it out. Here's what we've got. Not the top one, that was already there. This one right here. See how it's a very narrow zigzag. So now, I'll turn this all the way up and show you the difference. Presser foot down and we'll hit the pedal. See that wide zigzag in comparison? So that's what the stitch width lever is for. What about the stitch length over here? So it's set to 6 right now. Let's set it to 12. This should make a finer stitch. Okay, we're still set to the widest possible zigzag, but now we have our stitch length turned down. So let's see the difference. See how you get a much more densely packed in zigzag? You can see my fabric crinkled under there, just ignore that. That's because this is too thin and really needs an interfacing. But you can see the difference between the stitch length set at 6 and the stitch length set at 12. And this works for the straight stitch too. So let's go back down to the straight stitch. So this we sewed with a straight stitch on the length of 6. This next one will be straight stitch with stitch length of 12. See the difference? The one on the bottom is much more densely packed in. So this was a stitch length of 6 and the bottom one was a stitch length of 12. So that's what stitch length does. Up here we have a presser foot pressure dial, so it's set to normal, but you can turn this up or down. You'll need more pressure for a thicker fabric, less pressure for a thinner fabric. This is your tension dial. It should normally be set to around 4. That's where you should start. If you need to adjust your tension, if your stitches aren't coming out balanced, you can check out some of my other videos on balancing your tension. Now I'll show you how to wind a bobbin if you need to get some thread onto your empty bobbin. I'm going to cut this off and pull this through. Always do that when you're unthreading your machine rather than pulling it the wrong way. Okay, so we're going to leave the thread on the thread spool. Okay, so our thread is on the spool pin, and then we're going to bring it over here to this bobbin winder tension disc. And we're just going to bring it around like that. Pull it with both hands and make sure it's locked in there. Then we'll take the tail of the thread and we'll put it into one of these holes on the bobbin. You'll notice some of the holes are not actually pierced all the way through, so find one that's an actual hole, and then we're going to thread it from the inside out. So I'm going from the inside so that the tail can come out the top of the bobbin like that. Then we'll take the bobbin and put it over here on this bobbin peg. Now we have to tell the machine it's time to wind the bobbin. So we're going to take this and push it over. And then also come to the flywheel on the side of the machine. Hold on to the outside and turn the inner part towards the front of the machine. Now hold the thread tail up and hit the pedal, and the machine will start winding thread onto the bobbin. Oops. Make sure that's pushed all the way over. There we go. After you get started, you can clip this tail so you don't have to hold it the whole time. Sometimes smaller thread spools want to fly off like that. You can get little nets to keep them on, or you can just go slower, or you can get bigger spools of thread. So if you wanted to wind the whole bobbin, this will know when to stop it, and it'll stop it. But if you want to stop it at any point, you can. You just cut it off and then push this back over. You have to push on the actual bobbin and the lever sometimes to make it really move. And then hold onto the outside of the flywheel and turn the inner part towards the back of the machine to tighten that back up to tell the machine it's time to do regular sewing again. Then just remember to take your thread out of this bobbin tension disc. That's the only time we use that. And then when you're ready to rethread the machine, you'll just use that guide again. Then you'll take your bobbin off of here, and then it's ready to go down into the bobbin area. Here are some of the accessories that came with this machine. I wanted to point out some of these because they're kind of unique. Here we have what they're calling a feed plate. So it's another throat plate that you put on, and it just makes a raised surface. They recommend this for free motion quilting and button sewing. Pretty cool. I also thought this zipper foot was really unique. I don't know if I've ever seen one so small and clear plastic, and it has a slider. So you slide it from side to side to determine which side you want to use. Another unique thing about this machine is how you change the presser feet. There's no button or lever on the back here. They just tell you to raise the needle in its highest position raise the presser foot lever, and then point the toe of the foot upward and push down to snap it off. So you have to kind of point upward and then push on the back, and it'll snap off. And then to put it back on, you center it on the shank just like that, lower the presser foot down, and then it says to actually just press right here on the screw to push down on it so it snaps on. Kind of unique and different. I've only ever seen that one other time, and it was on a modern, really little kid version of a Brother sewing machine that snap on without any type of button. Interesting feature. I also wanted to show a little more on the bobbin case area because it is so unique. So when you slide this door open, if you needed to get in here, you can take this throat plate off by pulling it out like that. So you'll want to get in here and clean out all the lint periodically, but I want to show you how you get the bobbin case out. So first we'll just lift the bobbin out. And then to get the silver bobbin case out, we need to manipulate this little black piece here. So we need to lift here, and you have to pry it up kind of hard from the front, and then just slide it over to the right like that, and then it allows you to pull this out. So that's your bobbin case. If you ever need to take that out, clean in there, and then you can put it back in. When you put it back in, just make sure it's laying in there level. There's a lip that goes all the way around the outside, and it needs to be laying in there flat. And then you can lift this black piece back over to lock it in where it goes. Very unique bobbin case. Never seen one quite like that. Okay friends, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on the Singer Fashion Mate Model 362. If you liked it, please do give my video a like. And if you're into this kind of thing, please subscribe to the channel. We do a new video every Monday, and it's all about sewing deep dives. So we cover tutorials on different models of sewing machines, troubleshooting your machine, just tips and tricks you might not know about, fun sewing projects, fabric, all kinds of things like that. So please hit the like and please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for that. And if you're into yarn, I am going to start a new channel. It's called Pin Drop Yarn Shop. It's going to be up in the next month or two, and we're going to be posting every week over there, all about knitting, crochet, and yarn. If you need to pick up any sewing supplies like needles, thread, bobbins, fabric, anything like that for your Singer Fashion Mate, your other machines, or any of your other sewing projects, please head over to our website, shoppindrop.com. It's a great way you can support me, support our little shop, support our channel while you're buying stuff that you already need for your sewing projects, and I really appreciate that. So please leave a comment down below if you have anything else to say. I love to hear your comments. I love to know that I've helped you, or if you have anything else that you were struggling with or needed to know, please leave them down below and I will do my best to answer you. So thanks so much again for tuning in, and I will see you next week for another video. Happy sewing.